Hello there, Chicago. This is Biondi 68 from WCFL. Oh, man. Chicago 10, all sorts of happy sounds. We've got 22 past the hour of midnight, and if you were supposed to be home at midnight, you're in trouble. I'll tell you that right now. And want to say thank you again. So many nice people have been calling in, not only just now, but for the past few days when we've been here. It's just been great, and I want to thank you. We got a lot of good things planned for you, and we hope those of you that are going to be up with us all night will take part in them. And for those guys and gals that have to go to school in the morning, well, Friday and Saturday nights are groovy, too, so we'll have a wonderful time. Who's the king of the afternoon in Chicago?
Go, go, girl, you drive me wild. Shake it, shake it, shake it, child. Eyes wide open, but you see no one.
Hi, this is Jim Stagg, and that's today's Chicago premiere. Join me this afternoon at 3 for the best of the new on the Stagg Line.
The Jim Stagg program is another exclusive presentation. Afternoons at 3 on Chicago's WCFL.
A groovy chick, a cheetah, a slap shot by Makita, a roaring, roaring hour on the air. Losing your umbrella and cruising the Wendella, as much a part of Chicago.
Sing it again.
WCFL. Joint on Wells Street.
Yeah.
The tie-up when that awful snowfall fell. A rhubarb by DeRocher, pastrami hot and kosher, as much a part of Chicago as WCFL. WCFL.
Here's the song that was inspired by me. I make a fool of myself. Back into that bag again, huh, Biondi? Come on, everybody, let's smile. You look so good when you're smiling. The sound of Frankie Valli. And I make a fool of myself. Dick Biondi, 68, 27 past the hour of midnight. This is the Association. The Association. And no fair at all. Hello there, Chicago. This is Biondi 68, and we're off and running. And I hope you're just as, happy and without the blues tonight as I am, because that's the way you should be. We'll be back in 5 with
Review.
Yeah, the letter with the box top. WCFL, Voice of Labor, Chicago.
This is WCFL News. In Southeast Asia, the U.S. command reports B-52s in 4 days of bombing near the buffer zone touched off 110 secondary explosions of fuel and ammunition supplies. Communist mortarmen have shelled the South Vietnamese city of Hue, hitting a hospital, a prison camp, and a high school. John Gannis, WCFL News. Weather, in a word, pleasant, 69 degrees at Marina City. In Chicago, another sign of Republican infighting is due to emerge today. WCFL's political reporter Tom Sheridan has the story.
Edmund Kaharski, Republican County Treasurer and County Board President Ogilvy's voice in the Republican Central Committee, will carry a petition before the full Central Committee meeting reaffirming the earlier stand of the Executive Committee. That position was that there would not be any Cook County participation in any statewide slating convention next January. Enforcing this vote, Ogilvy pits his political strength against County Chairman Tim Sheehan, who originally authored the convention idea, which successfully drew Republicans together in 1967 to elect Charles Percy to the U.S. Senate. Since the Cook County Republican Central Committee's Executive Board and the State Central Committee have already opposed the conference idea, Kaharski was asked of what value a full committee vote would be, beyond embarrassing Tim Sheehan, who favors the pre-selection of 1968 candidates.
It gives more participation by the other members of the Cook County Central Committee to express their feelings.
Acceptance by the County Central Committee of the anti-slating convention is almost a certainty because nearly all members have already signed such a petition. Ogilvy opposes the convention because of a possible downstate coalition to slate a downstater rather than a Cook County Republican, and Ogilvy wants to run for governor in 1968. Tom Sheridan, WCFL News, County Building.
Hurricane Fern is bearing down on the northeast coast of Mexico, but is still potentially dangerous to South Texas. 5 men are missing in gales and stormy weather, which is lashing the Pacific Northwest. In Washington, the Pentagon has no comment on a statement by Britain's defense secretary that the planned U.S. anti-missile system will not block any major nuclear attack. And in St. Louis, General Motors Corporation, with 13,000 dealers in the country, has appointed its first Negro dealer. In sports, the Chicago Bulls beaten by the New York Knicks 123-117 in an exhibition game at Skokie last night. That's the 5th straight exhibition win for the Knickerbockers, while Chicago's preseason record, 3 wins and 5 losses. WCFL weather fair through today with a low the remainder of this morning in the lower 60s, high today in the 80s. Currently winds southwest 12 miles per hour. Temperatures northwest suburbs 68, southwest suburbs 70, downtown at Marina City 69.
If you're a Jew, over 11 Jewish charities as different as a community center, a home for the aged, and a vocational service and employment center can benefit from one tax-deductible gift. Your donation goes 900 ways when you support the Metropolitan Crusade of Mercy.
That's what's happening. John Gannis, WCFL News, standing by for the Dick Biondi All-Night Show.
All righty, thank you.
Give me a ticket for an aeroplane.
Getting back to Chicago. Oh, the sound of the box tops, man. That is probably one of the biggest sounds across the United States. This is Dick Biondi, 68, WCFL, 24 minutes before 1 in the morning, the first night, and so many nights. I got to tell you about one thing. It's sort of... got a lot of calls because I remember you when I was in 5th grade, you know. But the thing that really is exciting, a young lady called up a few minutes ago and said, Mr. Biondi, and I said, yes. She said, you know, I used to go to your dances and so on. I said, I've got 5 kids now.
Originally yours. WCFL Twin Spin.
Ah, here comes the Big Mama and her group. Yes, indeed. Mamas and Papas. Ooh, I dig that tune. Monday, Monday. Yes, indeed. That goes out to Sandy Eli from her real special Bo Tom. This is the Dick Biondi 68 show. Got a little weather for you here on WCFL. Remainder of tonight, fair and mild with a low in the lower 60s. Tuesday, mostly sunny, continued warm with a high in the 80s. And tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low near 60. It's going to be wild tomorrow night. Barney Pipp's going to be around, and Ron Britton. And then, of course, at 5 this morning, it's that unusually great talent, Jerry G. The greatest thing that ever happened to mornings.
The fun explodes in the new WCFL Teen Set.
In the November issue now on sale, you'll see a 2-page full-color blow-up of the Association and 12 more color pages on the Beatles, Monkees, Herman, Bob Dylan, the Doors, and Mark Lindsay.
You'll also get the latest on the American Breed, Lewis and Clark, and the Cream.
Read what Joel Sebastian has to say about love and experience a day in the mind of Ron Britton.
Solid, Jackson. Let Barney Pip tell you what's happening. Take a WCFL time shuttle trip with Nikita Khrushchev.
Nikita Khrushchev?
Uh-huh.
Better scratch that.
All the fun explodes in the new issue of WCFL Teen Set, Chicago's greatest magazine ever.
WCFL Teen Set is at your favorite newsstand or magazine counter now. Send $3 for a full year subscription to Teen Set Subscriptions, WCFL Radio, Chicago 60610.
All right, Chicago. I'd like to send this one out not to Sir, but to every beautiful listener with love. That is probably one of the prettiest tunes around today. Lulu and To Sir with Love. Hello there. Gee, you look good tonight. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you with the curlers in your hair and the gook on your face. Well, that's the way it goes when you're getting ready to go to work in the office in the morning. This is Dick Biondi 68. We've got 16 before 1 in the morning. It's a good morning, and wherever you happen to be, we thank you for joining us on WCFL. Ooh.
WCFL has happened to ya. Chicago, USA. Hooray and hallelujah. Chicago is saved.
Give me some more preaching.
WCFL, oh yeah.
Encore. For Cheryl. Dig the Hollies.
Bus stop away.
The Hollies. Bus stop. This is Biondi 68 from WCFL. Hello, all you wonderful people out there. And, gee, there's so many names, and just a little while we'll be mentioning a whole host of names of people that have been calling in, not only tonight, but the past few days. Thanks to the anti-frame ushers who let us in tonight to come to work, and to everybody else out there on WCFL, Chicago's great radio station.
This is Elgin calling. Chicago is on. I have a call from Oak Park. Stand by for Mount Prospect. Riverdale is calling. Des Plaines is standing by.
This is Chicago calling.
And now, WCFL's exclusive listing of Chicagoland events and activities. Holiday Hospitality Day is on tap for October 4th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's the largest fundraising project of the Auxiliary of McHenry County Hospital at Woodstock. So come to Woodstock October the 4th. And were you a part of the 6th Battalion that built Henderson Field on Guadalcanal? If so, come to Des Moines, Iowa on October 12th, 13th, and 14th for your reunion. And remember, if your nonprofit club or organization has an announcement of interest to the community, write Chicago Calling, WCFL. Your very exclusive listing for Chicagoland.
Chicago is on. I have a call from Oak Park. Stand by for Mount Prospect. Riverdale.
Chicago Calling is another WCFL sound of service.
You were born to win. A great new fun game. Premiering on WCFL Monday, October 9th. All it takes to play is a birthday and a radio. Win dollars. Have fun. Be listening Monday for some of the easiest winning you've ever done. Find your place in the fun on WCFL, of course.
Oh, I want to say thank you to Wayne Rosebaum of Sullivan High School, Gary Schwartz, Sue Young of Harvey, to Chris, Gail of Westchester, Linda Vargas, Kitten and Underdog, and Aaron Rosenberger, Bill, Mary Garlitz, I hope that's right, and Barbara Jacobson of River Forest. All who have called in, and gee, it's so good to hear from you. We're going to be here all night long, and if you're working or you're cooking or baking or washing or doing something like that, good to have you with us. Stay with us. This is the time to, just enjoy yourself.
Music.
WCFL Mini Spin.
A little old man was sitting on the step.
Mini Spin. Exclusively yours from WCFL.
That's where it's at.
You better believe that's where it's at. We got some beautiful, beautiful weather in Chicago. Good to be back in one of the grooviest towns in the entire world, Chicago. And believe it or not, someone wanted to know how we liked the rain when we came in the other day. First time we'd seen rain since last May, believe it or not. And it's hard to believe. Nobody saw rain for that long a time. I just walked outside, and people looked at me and said, look at that guy. Doesn't know enough to come in off the rain.
A fall of fun explodes in your ears all this week on Radio 10. Today, The Secret Student begins for another year. Listen to the Jerry G. Bishop program every morning for the location of that WCFL Secret Student. Each evening on the Ron Britton and Barney Pip program, you'll hear the name of the winner. I'll be looking for the best drummer in Chicago. A set of Ludwig drums awaits the winner, so listen for details. Tomorrow on the Joel Sebastian program from 9 until noon, learn how you could be a bunny for a day. And soon you'll hear Dick Williamson's What's That Line contest, Barney Pip's Underground, and Jerry Bishop's Bowling Championship. Also, Born to Win.
It sounds like fun.
WCFL Encore.
Ah, yes. Here's an encore that is probably one of the most beautiful things that's ever been written. John, Paul, George, and what's-his-nose. I was just kidding about Ringo. It's sort of a thing about people with...
Listen to the lake. Listen to the trees. Spread your fingers out. Listen to the breeze. Listen to the loop. Listen to the drive. Listen to Chicago. Coming to your life. WCFL. The heart of Chicago.
Oh, yes. Somebody called up a little while ago and wanted to know if we'd ever met the Beatles. Yes, we did, and we met them twice in Los Angeles and talked to them backstage and found them to be most wonderful, wonderful people. And for those Stones fans that are listening in, yes. In fact, we feel rather wonderful about one in particular, and that's Mr. Brian Jones, who we had many long and lengthy conversations with about the United States. It was just a groovy, groovy thing. Hey, wherever you are out there, I want to say thank you. George Hinkle and Dick Worth are listening at Kent State in Ohio, and they're radio communication majors. And they called up and said they were listening, and after listening to 10 minutes of our show, in a few years, they're going to come up here and take the place over. Brand new, the Grassroots, Dick Biondi 68. Wake up, Chicago. Brand new from the Grassroots on Chicago's great radio station, WCFL. That's called Wake Up, the Grassroots. Somebody called up and said, how long is it going to take you to do it? Well, I might as well do it right now and get it over with so nobody will complain. I want to tell Notre Dame for what a great game they played on Saturday and congratulate them. And don't worry about it. That's the way it goes. Cried for 45 minutes after it was over.
Review.
Do you know what I mean? Can't you read in between the lines? Sometimes I'm talking and it does.
Be back in 5 minutes with that here on the Dick Biondi Show.
WCFL.
Stand up with hands over hearts.
WCFL. Now we proudly pledge allegiance to the station that we love. To the friend that we depend on, we sing the praises of.
What's the name again?
WCFL. WCFL. We'll be true to you forever, forever and a day. In this lovely land of Lincoln, wherever people play.
WCFL. 1 a.m. in Chicago, WCFL.
This is WCFL News. On the south side, police are searching for 2 youths in the fatal shooting of a grocery store clerk at 73rd and Morgan. A bullet wound in the chest fired from a gun held by one of the 2 bandits killed 44-year-old Kamil Uthman, who lived in a small apartment at the rear of the store. The victim had apparently heard the commotion when the 2 fugitives tried to rob the owner. 42-year-old Abraham Diab came onto the scene with a revolver. He was shot before he could even raise his weapon. John Gannis, WCFL News. Weather, in a word, comfortable, 69 degrees at Marina City. B-52 Stratoforts have returned again to North Vietnamese lines only 3 miles from the U.S. Marine Combat Base at Con Thien. The giant bombers blasted enemy supply and ammunition depots and bunkers in the demilitarized zone area. The American command reports that B-52s in 4 days last week touched off 110 secondary explosions, indicating direct hits on ammunition dumps and fuel. Communist guerrillas fired 14 rounds of mortar shells into the city of Hue, 400 miles northeast of Saigon. A South Vietnamese military spokesman said 1 shell hit a hospital, killing 1 patient, wounding 5 others. 2 rounds hit a prison camp, wounding a guard and 12 prisoners. Another shell landed on a high school, but there were no casualties there. Elsewhere in South Vietnam, ground action limited to small skirmishes. Bad weather limited U.S. airstrikes over North Vietnam to the lower portion of that country. Hurricane Fern is swinging closer to the northeast coast of Mexico and still carries a threat to South Texas. Following in the wake of her big and destructive sister Beulah, Fern is aiming her 85-mile-an-hour top winds between Tampico, Mexico and Brownsville, Texas. Officials say that even a near miss on the Texas coast by Fern's gale winds, high tides and rainfall could bring on new disaster. In the northwest, gale force winds and heavy rains continue to batter the western part of Washington state and Oregon. 3 Seattle men are missing and presumed drowned in the wreck of a 55-foot yacht off the mouth of the Columbia River. 2 other men were lost in the wreck of a 37-foot sailboat. Rains from the big Pacific storm have spread inland to the northern Rockies and southward to the California Sierras. In Washington, the Pentagon has no comment to make on a statement by Britain's defense secretary criticizing the American decision to build an anti-missile system against possible attack by Red China. Defense Secretary Dennis Healy said in a speech that the projected U.S. anti-missile screen could become obsolete before it's put into operation. California's Republican governor has ended his first out-of-state tour since being elected. WCFL's Jeff Kamen reports.
During his just-ended stump of out-of-state areas, non-candidate Ronald Reagan expressed some strong feelings about being plotted against. one point, I was the only reporter with Reagan when an admirer asked him to autograph a copy of the authorized Reagan biography. Ever smiling, conservative Republican Reagan took the book in hand, commenting his admirer had a first edition.
I was double-crossed. The publisher, and he changed that dedication to Honey with Love. It sounds like the kind of a fellow that would call his wife Ladybird. It was to Nancy with Love. And I don't know why they changed it. Matter of fact, I'll show you another little secret in here. You'll find in here a little stub of a page. I made them with a razor blade on the 7,500 books that had been printed. Cut with a razor blade that section of pictures out. They went out on their own without my permission and got a set of pictures that were not intended to do me any good.
It's generally known that the pictures Reagan objected to were of him with his first wife, actress Jane Wyman. Jeff Kamen, WCFL News.
In St. Louis, General Motors Corporation has named a Negro as its first dealer. Albert Johnson, who sold autos in his spare time while serving as assistant administrator in a St. Louis hospital. And Johnson will open his dealership in Chicago. General Motors has 13,000 dealers throughout the nation. A close race is anticipated in today's primary for the Democratic nomination for mayor of Cleveland. The contenders are Negro State Representative Carl Stokes and three-time Mayor Ralph Locher. One local poll gives Locher an edge of 0.6%. In sports, the Chicago Bulls defeated by the New York Knickerbockers 123-117 in an exhibition game at Skokie last night. And that was the fifth exhibition straight win for the Knickerbockers. Chicago has a preseason record of 3 wins and 5 losses. WCFL weather fair through tomorrow. Low the remainder of this morning in the lower 60s, high today in the 80s. Currently winds southwest 12 miles per hour. Temperatures northwest suburbs 68, southwest suburbs 70, downtown of Marina City 69. That's what's happening. John Gannis, WCFL News, standing by for Dick Biondi and the All Night Show.
Thank you, John. Dick Biondi, 68 here. Gonna get to the phones now. Thank you for being so patient. You know what I mean. Dick Biondi, 68, from WCFL, Chicago's great radio station. And we've got 1 past, 3rd of October, 1967.
Originally yours. WCFL Twin Spin.
So many people. For Sandy of Hillside and all you other folks. Frankie Valli on the Dick Biondi Show. Let's see you smile as he sings to each and every one of you. Frankie, I can't take my eyes off you. Frankie Valli, hello there, Chicago. Good morning to you. Oh, yes, indeed. Number 1 to fun, WCFL, Dick Biondi here, the wild-eyed Trallion. Happy to be back home, and I hope I can use that phrase because I feel like it. And want to remind you, the weatherman says it's going to be fair and mild tonight, a low in the lower 60s. Tomorrow, well, great day for golf. Mostly sunny with a high in the 80s. And with my score, it'll be a high in the 160s.
How do you like it so far?
The best way to enter the fall season of fun on WCFL is to enter laughing. Enter laughing now by calling 222-1990. If you've got the funniest laugh in Chicago, in the opinion of our judges, you'll become the proud owner of a beautiful Silvertone portable color TV set from Sears. So call 222-1990 now and enter laughing. We will play some of your funniest entries on the air each hour. If we play your laugh, you will automatically receive a ticket to the movie Enter Laughing, now playing at the Loop Theater. So call 222-1990 now and enter laughing. You may have the funniest laugh in Chicago and a new color TV to boot.
If my boss calls that number laughing after listening to this show, he'll win hands down. Here's that strawberry alarm clock. Great, great sound. Incense and peppermint. Oh, that is something else. That's incense and peppermint. I want to say hello to all the fellas on the second floor north over at IIT who have been listening to me since they've been in grammar school, and they've made me an official. Well, I want to thank them. Second floor north over at IIT, and if they've been listening to me since they were in grammar school, I'm in trouble. I'll tell you that right now. And I want to say hello to all the guys in the telephone company over at the Edgewater plant, the telephone company. They're listening in, and they're very nice, and they're checking the frames out. That's the frame is a big, huge thing with all kinds of wires, And, you know, come to think of it, that does look like a woman with curler in her hair.
When you're 75 years old and your family is gone and you're all alone in a city of 3.5 million and you're hungry or lonely and someone says to you,
"Isn't there someone who can help you, Mr. Janowski?"
"I don't have anybody." This is the time when one of Chicago's more than 27 settlement houses are ready to lend a helping hand by helping the newcomer, the school dropout, the aged to help themselves. And there are many more of these people looking for help each year. And as bad as conditions are, without the around-the-clock work of Chicago's settlement houses, things would be a lot worse. Regardless of where you work or live, Chicago's health is your business. Please, give generously to the 1967 United Settlement Appeal. "I don't have anybody." Another sound service of WCFL Radio.
Good advice. And you're in tune with the Dick Biondi Show 68 from WCFL at 16 past the hour of 1 o'clock.
Here is love in your ear. WCFL. Something now happened to Chicago. WCFL. Designed with love for the new Chicago. WCFL. Here is love in your ear.
Yeah. Got a whole passel of requests for this one. That's them, and that's Gloria. This is Dick Biondi, 68, from WCFL, Chicago's great radio station. I want to take just a moment here to say thank you to all of the great disc jockeys that have been so very kind and helpful in getting us situated here. Jerry G., Joel Sebastian, and Dick Williamson, Jim Stagg, Ron Britton, Barney Pip, and did I miss somebody there? Have I missed anybody? Seems like I did. Well, everybody. And, of course, to our engineer tonight, Tom Knaus.